Kunal, I know what you're trying to do. This is not correct. I'm watching you, dude. And this is going to land you in trouble.
What, Rishi, what are you getting at
You're
now?
trying to leak information from our podcast to the competitors, and it's not correct, okay? This is not done. You're sabotaging the podcast. It's wrong. Did I sound like Maldonado?
Well, you almost did. You sound better as Fernando Alonso in his Italian accent. But yeah, you're getting there.
Yeah, I'm not probably cranky enough.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I need to check your bank balance before I call you a money Naldo.
Yes, that's all it's going to be today. It's going to be about a lot of the post-Circuit of the Americas race. Kunal, Shah and Rishi Kapoor get together to bring to you the Inside Line F1 podcast. This is the post-American Grand Prix. And nice race. It's a little late for us. Like when I say late, it's probably...
It's past midnight.
Past
Rishi.
midnight. It's about 2, 3 by the time we go to sleep. Kunal sleeps at 5 because he has other women to flirt with. But what I'm trying to say is good race, Kunal. Good race.
Absolutely good race. And you know, Rishi, on the point of sabotage.
Yes.
Okay.
I've got you here.
On the point of sabotage. Okay. I know that somebody did sabotage the parade cars going up to the first corner.
They just couldn't climb up. Jensen had to run out of his car.
And you know, so much for all those powerful American machinery.
Muscle cars, I call them. Muscle cars. And I believe one of the drivers is going to get penalized because he bumped into another car. And you take a ride, you hitch a ride these days in Formula 1, you get to pay a lot of money. A lot of money lies with Maldonado. He's going to be out of Williams. He said bad things about the team. The team has come back saying that never happens at Williams. What do you think is the truth behind the whole crux?
The truth behind the whole crux is that he's got a sponsor willing to pay millions of pounds, and there are lots of teams on the grid willing to accept the millions of pounds. That's the reality.
And has he believed in the fact that Valtteri Bottas is genuinely better than him?
If the results are anything to go by, then it just shows.
But do you think the race was interesting? Because, you know, there were parts in the race where I was going a little snoozy, a little lazy. What do you think?
I think the race got a little boring. And Rishi, let me warn you that in 2014, we've talked about engines not sounding right. We've talked about cars looking ugly.
Correct.
And now Pirelli have threatened that they could make F1 boring even more so by making tires which will enable only a single pit stop during a race.
Which is just bad because it happened yesterday, and the only double pit stops we got from drivers who really big time screwed up, or front wings that screwed up big time, as in Kovalainen's case.
But you know what, Rishi? I see this as an opportunity for you and me on the Inside Line F1 podcast.
To become marshals?
No.
Then?
To actually do a live podcasting show next year, because when the sport gets boring, it's time where funny men like you and me get the chance to showcase the humor of the sport.
Suddenly all chicks start asking for our numbers and all that. Hey, this is sounding like fun. But yes, the anticlimax that I spoke of was Kovalainen. Started brilliantly in free practice, was matching Grosjean, if not beating him, but suddenly race looking very, very ordinary, very ordinary.
It was actually the inevitable, if you ask me, because Kovalainen did fantastically well to get into Q3.
Correct.
Okay, but it's a new team, new engineers, new everything. He's not driven a competitive race since 15, 18 months, maybe more than that. And I wasn't surprised to see him go backwards.
Yes, also had a nose issue, also had some tire issues, etc., etc., etc. But, you know, Kovalainen has raced for Lotus in a different way, with different colors, and now with different ways and different colors.
Yes.
And my friend Kunal has come up with a very fabulous joke and an analogy around this. And he says...
And, you know, he's gone from racing for Team Lotus to the Lotus F1 team.
So?
Okay, and given that the 2014 general elections are just around the corner, okay, there's no doubt which team, which political party he's being inclined towards.
Yes, in India we call it Kamal Kapoor. It stands for BJP. You know who he's voting for. I probably doubt if he's got the age to vote in India. But he's spoken more about Formula 1 and about racing than probably Raikkonen actually spoke all season. You know, and it's really funny. Kunal actually observed this and he said, you know, I think Raikkonen is coaching Lewis Hamilton. And I said, why?
Because, you know, if you hear Lewis Hamilton's radio, he was just grumpy all the time. Like, I know, you know, let me focus. So maybe Raikkonen is making some money on the side now that he's anyways not being paid by Lotus.
Formula 1 radio coach. Is that even a career? But yeah.
For Kimi Raikkonen, it well could be.
Yes, just leave me alone. Just leave me alone. He is actually left alone. He's outside the paddock. Some people say that his back surgery is a way to get away from the team and get closer to Ferrari, and probably Ferrari's asked him not to race. So they still get to be third or second in the championship in constructors.
Exactly, and if you see, that's precisely what's happened. Lotus is fourth, and they're only scoring with one driver instead of scoring with two drivers.
Correct.
So, and you can always trust Ferrari to pull off such off-track maneuvers all the time.
Off-track maneuvers also include something around Hülkenberg, where Hülken is not racing for Lotus. Also have something to do with Ferrari and rumors.
Yes, I actually agree with Hülkenberg's decision to not race for Lotus in Austin and Brazil. Okay. He finished fifth in the race yesterday. And maybe if he was in a Lotus in a new team, etc., yes, it's a better car, no doubt. There is no guarantee that he would have been higher up. I mean, he was not way off the pace in his Sauber. And, at this point of his career, when he's being judged, for a seat next year, the last thing you'd want to do is go into a new team in a new environment and get beaten by a new teammate who isn't necessarily quicker than you, but has the experience in that team to beat you.
Experimentation is not the way to go. But one man who knows his team well, he knows his cars well, and still makes dismal starts is a man called Mark Webber. Mark Webber, why can't he get a start in place?
I think let's just accept that he's moving to sports car racing because they have rolling starts. I think that's...
he said that on the podium. Next time I'm going to see you in a Porsche.
Yeah.
All of that. But yeah, again, a great drive. It's a pity because he needs to fall back, make some space, come back for 5 laps, gunning, and then he couldn't overtake the driver. But brilliant move on Lewis Hamilton.
Brilliant move on Lewis Hamilton, and even more brilliant pit stop by the Red Bull mechanics.
1.9 is what they're claiming. 1.9.
Yes. Can you imagine the fastest car, the fastest driver, and the fastest mechanics now?
Woo-hoo!
Who wouldn't want to drive for Red Bull Racing?
Who wouldn't want to drive for Red Bull Racing? Who wouldn't want to go away? One man going away, name Sergio Perez. I'm giving my heart out to the man. I think what has happened to him is unfair. I don't think he's got a great deal from McLaren.
He doesn't have a great deal from McLaren. It is unfair. But life's unfair. It's even more unfair if you're a Formula 1 driver.
It's, he's probably at McLaren in the worst season in the past 10 years. And, he has shown signs of being absolutely an idiot, but an absolute brilliant driver as well. I mean, the way he was overtaking people at Monaco, you need a big heart to do that. I mean, really, really, McLaren could have come up with this decision much earlier.
Well, they could have come up with a decision much earlier, but, the timing can never be right in this case. I was hoping he gets a second season to prove his worth and talent. But when you have a young driver coming up the ranks, and McLaren need a young blood in the system, even more so now, given their dismal season this year. Okay, and imagine if a Kevin Magnussen comes and does what Lewis Hamilton did to the team back in 2007, and imagine even more so if this was to lead to an Alonso Hamilton kind of rivalry for next year.
That is a point to be considered. But do you think he's going to be as good as Lewis? Because he's really young, 21.
You never know, Rishi. Given that we have a quadruple world champion who's 26, and after winning a race, instead of sounding immortal, instead of sounding boisterous, instead of sounding like a 26-year-old driver who says the first round of drinks are on me, he sounded all zen like yesterday.
I know. What's with the let's enjoy this while this lasts? And
I tell you, he must have done the Vipassana program.
He's probably chanting somewhere. He has nothing to do in the car. He's winning all the time. He's probably chanting somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, I heard his message on the radio and I was like, what? Is that really a Sebastian Vettel? Where is all the, arrogance that we all saw in Malaysia? Where is all the overconfidence that people spoke about? I mean, he was just so calm and composed, and he knows that these moments may not last forever.
I hope they do, as a mix of Formula 1 season is expected next year. But the next year comes very early because next week is when Formula 1 ends. Interlagos is here and 2013 season is shutting shop. Can you believe that? Time just runs.
Time runs, and Rishi, did you really have to bring that up? I mean, we'll have to cope with no Formula 1 in our life for close to 3 months.
Withdrawal symptoms, I tell you.
Absolutely, man. Oh, God.
Okay.
I have no words now.
I don't know what to do, but to give a great welcome to the Interlagos circuit, the Senna S is a legendary turn. We've seen some great championships being decided in this circuit, and look at that. I mean, as far as I remember, Raikkonen became champion here by 1 point. Lewis became champion here by 1 point. Jenson Button became champion here. Massa almost became champion here.
Yeah, so Glock gave Massa's championship away to Lewis.
It's a nice Christmas gift.
But what I really love about Interlagos, Rishi, is The river that runs through the Sena. Yes.
Ah, yes, the river of water. I don't know if it's going to be raining this year. I hope it does because then it's a non-Vettel victory. And I personally want Vettel to gift one race to Weber.
My God, Rishi, really, you're still stuck on Vettel gifting a win to Weber.
Okay, I'll rephrase. I still want Weber to have a clean start. Now, that's doable.
That's doable, but let me put it this way. If Vettel is going for the win and if he is out there to equal Michael Schumacher's 13 wins in a season, there is no chance he's giving up that victory for anything.
But look at a PR stunt if he would give the victory to Weber.
The PR stunt is going to be temporary. History books are going to be for a lifetime, Rishi.
That's where Kunal and I always disagree. Yes, we've disagreed on one more thing, and that is the winners for the contest. The Nico Rosberg debut podcast that you heard last time had a few pictures and a few cloud boxes that you had to fill. Entries from all across the world have come. I think they are hilarious, and I certainly don't feel like the funny man on Inside Line F1. But Kunal, great. Big round of applause for everybody. What great support, and this is across the globe. People have written in Spanish.
I know. You and I had to use Google Translate.
Hola, amigos. I don't know what language you speak, but hey, mademoiselle, I don't know. Next time, please send it in English. We had to translate, and we've come up with 4 winners and their entries, which you will find at a link below, with their entries being highlighted and showcased and stuff. So congratulations to, with great round of applause, Pratik Khanna, Utkarsh Shetty, Merin Mandana and Pavitra. You all get merchandise from Mercedes AMG Petronas F1 team. Courtesy Puma and those lovely people at Puma that we've been in touch with. Woo! Woo! So looking forward for a lot of racing next week. Looking forward for the shutdown of Formula 1, the finale of 2013 and a great 2014 to come.
But before you end it, Rishi.
Yes.
The one question that you hate answering.
Yes.
What are your predictions for the weekend?
Oh! So, if it doesn't rain, it's going to be absolutely Vettel. But I hope it's a Weber on the top end of the podium. I would like to see that. There's going to be one Lotus up there. Grosjean is going to look well. Probably a Mercedes.
I would say I'm still gunning for a Vettel victory. I would love to see a 26-year-old beat every single person 13 times this season, go into the record books. Okay. Yes, Mercedes will be up there. Yes, even the Lotuses will be up there. But you know what I would really like is Felipe Massa's got a wonderful parting gift. Okay. From Ferrari a couple of weeks back. Woo! Yes. And I would love to see him get onto the podium on a Ferrari in Brazil, and that would be the most epic parting gift that he could ever get.
That would also be the point where the winner is not cheered as much as Massa is.
Absolutely.
And that's how we like it here on Inside Line F1 podcast. It's fast, it's spacey, so catch up or get left behind.